Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're on our way to a very small Comic-Con in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. But first I've got to drop my dog off at my parents' house. That's essentially all the video I have from the con. I didn't take any videos there. It was in a very small room to start with, and it was a lot of fun. There were just a lot of people packed in there, and if I took video it was just too loud. So I didn't do that. There were a lot of posts in the ground, so the video quality wouldn't have turned out very well. So there was a costume contest, and I'm not sure how many entries there were. It seemed like there was a lot, but I'm not really sure. Everybody got to talk to the judges and explain their costume and get into character and everything like that. And you were judged based off of creativity, originality to the character, getting into character, craftsmanship, all different kinds of things. So I did end up winning my category, which was goodies. There was a goodie and a baddie category, and I ended up winning with the goodie, and I won a sonic screwdriver. I'm not sure if you can even see because of the reflection, but this is what I won, so I will probably take it into work and display it on my desk next to all my other nerdy, dorky things that I have on my desk, like so, yeah, I mean, that's really all we did. I had to leave really early for a birthday party after that, so there were a lot of stormtroopers and Star Wars things going on and lightsaber battles and different panels for drawing manga and everything like that, which I wish I could have stayed for, but unfortunately I did have to leave, so I didn't get my picture with any stormtroopers or anything, but definitely next year. If there is a next year, I'll definitely be there and I will do that again. So overall, that was a lot of fun. And then we started driving home and we were hungry and we wanted to go to Taco Bell. And I think we spent about 45 minutes at Taco Bell because they just couldn't get their order right. They didn't have forks, they were out of mild sauce. I'm telling you, this Taco Bell was terrible. So, yeah, definitely the low point of the day. But the con was awesome, so that's all that matters, right? So next on the list is a little bit more about the construction of my peach dress. And I'm just giving you a heads up if you hear weird noises in the background. My dog is super annoying and she is running around back here because she was sitting crying at the door like a lunatic. So if you hear weird noises or little clicking sounds, that's just her little nails running around on the floor. So, yep, and there she is. What you doing, sweetie? Can you not get in mommy's stuff? Thank you. Alright, so, for the first thing, the things that I did not make. I did not make the gloves, both gloves, and I did not make the wig. I also did not make the underskirt. I bought the underskirt, but I did attach the pink border around it. But for everything else, I did make it. So we'll start from the top and we'll go the whole way down. So first is the crown. The crown is made out of a Hello Kitty cup that I found at Walmart for 87 cents. It's actually made out of two of them. So it was a long cup, it was about this big. And then I took a sheet of paper around it to make the cup out of paper. I flattened it and I drew the little points on it to make sure they were all even. I went through and I taped the points to the crown, and then I cut it out with an X-Acto knife, which was stupid. I ended up cutting my finger because I found out you can just cut it with a basic pair of scissors. So if you're going to do that, scissors are an option. Don't go too extreme for this. Then I cut out, there's a bottom rim, and that was also the Hello Kitty cup, and what I did for that is on the bottom of the cup there was actually a purple border, and I just cut out around the purple border and glued that on. Then I went over it with acrylic paint, a gold acrylic paint. I painted that all over the crown on the inside and the outside, and then after that I went through an entire bottle of its Ice brand nail polish. It's really cheap, it's like $1 or something. The Ice brand of that gold glitter polish, so I'm not sure if you can see. Some of it's starting to chip off a little bit because I didn't do such a good job, but it is glittery, and that is also the same thing I did for the gold rim on this gem. Then for all the little gems that are around here, I found a gem that looks like that at Hobby Lobby for very cheap. It came with two of them. So I made a mold out of silicone for those gems. The original gem was green. Then I just poured the clear resin with the glitter, and that's all this is. There's no extra coloring in this at all. It's just clear resin and glitter. And I poured that into the mold and I let it sit for about 2 days. Pulled that out, and then I just hot glued them right onto the crown. So that's all the crown was. If we want to do a tutorial of making that, I will gladly do that. I am making better quality ones to sell, so I will make a tutorial of that if it is requested. Then the gem was also the same thing. I think I might have gone over this in another video, but this was a Christmas ornament, and then the gold part around it was a wooden bracelet that I also found at Hobby Lobby. And I put the wooden bracelet over top of the ornament, hot glued it on the back way, and then I pressed that down into a mold, pulled it out when it was dry, and then filled it with resin. And I first filled it with just plain clear resin, very, very little bit of clear resin, because the glitter sinks to the bottom and then it will actually stick to the mold and it won't dry. So I put very, very little bit of clear resin, let that dry, poured down the clear resin with the glitter in it, let that dry, and then I poured the gold resin, which you can see this is original gold, before I added the glitter. So you can see there's glitter on it, and then this is the original. I poured that down over top of the blue glitter, let that dry, then I pulled it out, and I was sanding the back, but I didn't do it the whole way. For the ones that I'm selling, I am going to sand the back the whole way, but this is for me, so I really don't care what the quality looks like. Alright, and I'm sorry, I'm getting sick, so my throat hurts really bad, so if I sound terrible, I'm really sorry. Alright, so that was how I did this. Then the very first thing I did, I think it's my very first video, was making the top. So this was just a straight up square of white fabric, which then I used elastic. So there was elastic in here, which is no longer there because I went over it to pin it down. So this was elastic. I used a little piece of elastic and I sent it through the sewing machine, and as I was sending it through the sewing machine, I pulled the elastic really tight, so when I let go, all the fabric bunched up. So I did it here, and then there's one down here, and then this was just a normal stitch. Nope, actually I did use elastic on this, so it still kind of stretches a little bit. But I used elastic to go across the top of that. Then the two panels down the side were not elastic. They were actually, they ended up being, I just pleated them myself. But you can use elastic for this if you really want to. So this was just the front panel, and I pleated the sides here, and then I sewed them on. And they're actually sewn onto a base piece. So underneath of the shiny layer, there is another just kind of like broadcloth layer of the dress, and I just sewed these directly on. So this edge, you can't really tell, but it's actually not a finished edge, and I liked how it turned out because of the zigzag pattern. It kind of defines the line. And so since I didn't finish the edge, I cut really, 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 really close to the border, and then I filled it in with just clear nail polish to prevent it from fraying, and then I just sewed all that on. So that's what I did there, and I just sewed the rest of the bodice on. Nothing else is pleated on the bodice. And then I have Velcro up the back of it, which you can probably hear if I undo it. I have Velcro up the back of it, and the reason for that was I could not find a zipper that was long enough. I know there are zippers, but the very last thing I do is I sew up the back of the dress, and I did that 2 days before the con, and I drove all over the place. I could not find a zipper, so I just ended up using Velcro because I couldn't buy a zipper and get it here in time to put a zipper in the back of the dress. So that's just kind of how that turned out, and it's fine. I would prefer a zipper, but the Velcro works okay too, and in case I'm like dying or something, I can just like go like this, and like the Incredible Hulk, this dress, and just kind of rip it off. So, which is not what that was intended for, but it is possible. So the next layer is the pink poofs, and they look like this. And what I did is, this is all elastic, and it was 2 layers. So I've got, each side is a shiny layer and there's no ugly edges. So it originally was this size. I used elastic, did both of them, and then in the middle I sewed them together, and I put 2 little hooks, and they hook into the back of the dress just to make sure they stay in place. And then there's 1 hook on the inside here and on the outside of this one, so they hook together here, like so it goes around. And then there's also one more hook on the inside to attach to the front of the dress to make sure it stays in place in the front. So this altogether was very, very easy to make, and I will probably be selling these eventually in all different colors for all different kinds of princesses. I just haven't got around to making any more yet. I will probably be selling those eventually. Then the next thing was the overlay layer. Look at that. And this is the overlay layer. And this was just the same pattern I used for the dress, which if you look, I believe it's Simplicity, the Cinderella dress, which is what I used for the poofs. This is the back. Actually, I think I used the front panel, to be honest, the front panel of this. So that way there's only one seam going down the back and there's no extra seams on the sides. So that was really easy to make because it was just sewing down once and then I sewed around the edges. And then for the lace, I actually sewed all this lace on by hand because I was worried that I would mess it up and go really, really fast if I did it on my sewing machine. And I wanted it to be, like, I'm not sure if you can tell, there's little flowers that go through here. And I wanted the pink part to go halfway through these little flowers that are on here. That way I had a way of measuring, and then it's just sewn onto like the ugly side on the back. And one of the things I got a lot of compliments on was the design work on the bottom. And this was actually really, really, really easy. This was like the easiest part of the dress, I think. All these are, and this will be a surprise, but they're just stick-on pieces that I found at Walmart in the like scrapbooking area. And they're actually intended to be put on like pocketbooks or anything like that. So they're really sticky, and it actually does like pull the thread when I pull it off like that because it sticks so much. So they are not glued on, they're not sewn on. I literally just pulled them off the sheet and stuck them on. I took this and I laid it out. I have a king size bed, so I laid it out on my king size bed and put the matching piece on this side, the matching piece on that side, and then I just went the whole way down until I had it all, and I ended with the really big piece at the end. So that was pretty easy to make, nothing too complicated, and it works well, and everybody just absolutely loves just this design in general. I think it really adds a lot of effect to it, and since it's kind of like it's 3D and it's glittery and it's just, everybody seems to just really, really like that. So in order to keep that on, there's no clips in the back, and there are 2 clips on the front. So this one is on the inside of the dress, and this one, I'm sorry, this one is on the outside of the dress, and this one is on the inside of the dress. So I can put it around, and then I just clip those on like that so that they stay. Now, is that really necessary? Is that really necessary? So next is the bottom of the dress. Now, we did this under layer and we did the front layer first. So that was just the front panel of the dress. We sewed 2 straight lines across it and then pulled the strings together to make the pleats, to make both pleats. And then I just sewed around the rest of the dress, and there is a zipper on the bottom of this dress. So the top has Velcro, the bottom has a zipper. So this wasn't too hard. Then after that, I went through and I sewed on this bottom. It's not really lace. It's kind of almost like what you would see on like a baby blanket or something. I really don't even know what it's called. I guess it's kind of a type of lace. I don't know. If you know what this is called, you can correct me. But I sewed that around the entire bottom of the dress, and then that goes when I have the skirt on, which is really uncomfortable to sit in, and that's why I don't have it on. So that overlays onto the blue part. Or sorry, I'm losing my mind. That goes onto the pink part. There we go. Put that over there. So that is all of the dress, and then we've got the sleeves, and that was one of the things that I held off till the end to put onto the dress. And they weren't too hard. If you want to see exactly what the pattern looks like, you can go onto the video where I did that, but it's got a straight line at the bottom and then it goes up and then it makes like a big bump. And you sew the two parts together and then you pleat both ends of it, and the side that is straight, so like, you know, it kind of like went like this. So the bottom, when you bend it and put it together, that side will be straight, and that goes where your arm is, or like where your shoulder is. And you just pleat around the top of that, and then you don't really need to pleat on the bottom because if you put a bunch of pleats at your armpit, it is kind of uncomfortable. So you pleat around the top of that, and then the bottom you pleat the entire thing, the whole way around. Then after that, this band, it was thick because it's folded in half. So it was like double that size. I fold it in half, then I flip everything inside out, and I sewed the band to both sleeves. And then I sewed the sleeves onto the dress, and I sewed them onto the dress after the Velcro was in the back to create the whole dress. So that's about it. The only other thing was a hoop skirt. I got that off of Amazon. The wig is from Epic Cosplay. I also got the gloves from Amazon. So if you need links to those, I can definitely provide links to those. But other than that, I mean, the construction was slightly frustrating at some points. Like I've mentioned before, I have scoliosis, so it's really hard like this. It's probably even twisting on me right now. My back twists this way. So like if I wear stripes, the stripes will like start going straight, but then they'll start shifting this way, and the stripe that's on like this side of my body will actually twist like the whole way around, and my seams of my shirts end up like at my belly button and at my back because it's just twisting. So it can be really, really hard to get costumes to fit me correctly. Certain things like my Elsa dress, the top was made out of vinyl, so it couldn't really twist. In order for it to twist, the entire dress had to twist, and that wasn't really possible for my Elsa dress. But for something like this where it's made out of a satin, it's kind of slippery and it's really tight, it can start to twist on me and the whole dress can end up like at my hip. Like the whole center of the dress can end up there if I'm not careful. So it can be really frustrating for me to make dresses like this for that reason, because I have to sew the dress crooked to make sure that it's straight when I put it on. But if somebody else put it on, this dress would probably look something like, it would probably look like this way. It would look like that on somebody else. So it can be really hard to do certain things like that. So luckily this turned out, it did start twisting a little bit over time just because that's naturally what happens, but I just pull it back and it stays. So yeah, hopefully, I'm not sure if this was in depth enough, but hopefully that kind of helps. That way you can kind of put the whole thing together in one go instead of watching every single video to see exactly what happened. If you have any questions, let me know. I will definitely answer them. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one where we will be unboxing the Nerd Block arcade block.
Princess Puppy. You're a pretty princess puppy. Yeah, we're a pretty princess puppy. Thank you. Thank you so much, pretty princess puppy. You're a pretty princess puppy. Yes, we are. Oh, I just love my puppy. You wanna go outside? You wanna go outside? Let's go outside. Come on. Let's go play outside. Let's go. Let's go.